Welcome to RotoGrinders Today. I'm Jordan Cooper, a.k.a. BlenderHD, BlenderHD, if you want to follow me on Twitter. And it's Thursday, January 11th. We'll be taking a look at, we got 4 NBA games tonight. We got 13 NHL games. We'll be looking at daily fantasy. We'll be looking at props. We'll be looking at pick'em. We'll be looking at everything. Give me that thumbsy thumbs. Give me the thummy thumbs. Hit that thumbs up button. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell to always know when we go live. Join with me on this fine Thursday. The guy that you don't have a background. Typically, I make fun of your background, and you just you just got a green screen, Will. Right? Just
yeah.
Already 11 days into the new year. You had enough of it already. Just
yeah. I'm trying to have some optimal performance on my PC maybe. And what I might need to do, Blender, I may just need to get up my old school backdrop. Like I'm on,
that's what
like
I got up.
I know.
Skyline.
Yeah, I know. I've got the Charlotte skyline because that's when I started with the company, I was living there, and so I may need to pull that back out and just have it behind the green screen, and then when I want to use the green screen, just lift it up. See, so that's what I'm saying. I might go back to that.
I got my green screen down here. I can bring that up. I can bring it
down.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. I may go back to my old school setup and run it because I actually do really like my backdrop. My backdrop's beautiful, and so I may go back to that, and pull a little something up. But at any rate, what an interesting day for basketball in the NHL.
Well, basketball. I mean, you know me. I'm not playing NBA DFS. I mean, we'll talk about this slate a bit, but I do have props. I do NHL. I'll be playing NHL tonight. We'll talk a little bit about that. I know, Will, you're not an NHL DFS player, so we're kind of going to go back and forth here from the NBA stuff and then the NHL stuff. But let's we got projections loaded up early. I mean, it's only a 4-game slate. Seems like OKC has the highest total on the slate. Our current projections are, I mean, I don't think we have anything to worry about injury-wise, right? I mean, LeBron James is questionable, but isn't he always questionable? Does it really?
That's every day.
Right. So, like, I'm assuming we're going to these that LeBron's going to play, right?
Yeah.
So outside of that, it seems like everything is. I mean, it's the NBA. So let me just make it clear. Just because, like, the injury report today just looks like, oh, okay, we know what's going to go on, right? It's the slate is 8.5 hours away. And why not we can build lineups because we don't have to worry about anything. 3 hours from now, like, they'll rule out like 14 people. I mean, that's kind of the way it is.
And
but
we are anticipating. I do think the big news is the Luka news, and by big I mean we already know he's out. That's like that's the big piece,
right? So I mean, but looking at the projections, I mean, if you run just based on medians, you're playing a lot of Dallas. You're playing. I mean, is the value du jour going to be Jaden Hardy at 3,700? Because I mean, in order to get in, like guys like SGA, Anthony Davis, or LeBron, Randall, Simons, Lillard, whoever, Giannis, like, I mean, based on our projections, 27 minutes, 28.41 fantasy points. We have his ownership right now at 50%. I could see that being even higher. Is it going to be hard to build a lineup today with at least like maybe 3 Mavericks in it?
Yeah, well, here's the thing too, but on a small slate, there are probably going to be some decisions that you have to make. Like you said, it's just a 4-gamer. That 2 o'clock game is in Paris, so like that doesn't count. For me, Blender, I'm trying to decide, and this is I'm almost considering fading Kyrie and just playing the cheap guys. Now look, Kyrie is expensive, don't get me wrong, but on a small slate, facing the Knicks, slightly slower paced team. I'm not saying Kyrie won't get off. It's not that. It's just I think the Knicks are a little bit better overall. that I haven't committed to fading or not fading yet, because it's not. I mean, he's 9K on DraftKings, so it's not. He's not like improperly priced, and that's kind of where I'm kind of in a conundrum here. But I'll make that decision, as we go along. That's not when I'm settled in. But I do think the cheap Dallas guys, I mean, you probably have to consider that's some of the best value on this small slate.
Do you think that with OKC being a 13-point home favorite, that maybe people will shy away, no pun intended, from shy? Because looking at projections, if this game stays close, I mean, a way to avoid playing Irving, Kyrie, avoid playing, Giannis or Lillard or LeBron or AD is to just play SGA and Anthony Simons like together and just kind of game stack in a way. I mean, I'm looking at this of like if I was to approach the slate, and like I said, like I'm not playing the DFS slate. I'll be betting on these props. My inclination would be to play guys from Portland and OKC and then fill it out with the rest of the Dallas. Like basically anyone that's not a cheap Dallas player is going to be a player from Portland and OKC and hope that the game doesn't blow out because I think all these other games have much closer spreads and I could easily see the field just, hey, OKC blows Portland out and no one gets fourth quarter run and people like those blowout narratives. They're like, I don't know if I can play this. It's like I typically lean into these situations more often than not.
Yeah, for sure. I do like OKC and I do like Shy. And I've liked Shy all season, Blender. So the thing is, on a small slate, Shy gets all the ownership because he's got probably some of the most stable fantasy production in the NBA right now. On larger slates, we tend to shy away from Shy because we have other studs like Embiid and Jokic and Luka and Giannis. And so I feel like we don't play him as much. But, tonight, at least early projections, looks like we have him around 31%. On a small slate, we've got Kyrie Irving at 31%. So think about that. But on a small slate with no Luka, Kyrie's 31. And then we've got Shy at 31 as well. So, and obviously I know that speaks to how the salaries break down and how you can get these other players. But I think it still speaks to the fact that if Embiid, and we do have Giannis on the slate as well, but he's not picked up as much as Shy. If Embiid was on this slate, Blender, at 11K, I got to think he'd be pushing 40%. You see what I'm saying? So I still feel like we haven't committed to Shy being a stud, but he absolutely is. And in this game and on this team, despite the fact that Chet Holmgren is there, Shy is still the fantasy point producer on this team consistently.
So I'd be thinking about playing, like you play SGA plus Holmgren, you play like Simons plus Jeremy Grant. Like I want to focus on the guys that are going to be playing like 30 plus minutes. So I know these teams have rotations where a lot of guys could get in. But like your average remaining player salary is $43.75. I mean, it's going to be tight. But you could go here and you could play Dallas. You could plug in Hardy and Hardaway and Powell, right? You got 4,300 left for the last player. I mean, you could do something like this. Josh Green. I mean, maybe you don't go down that far, but this is kind of what I'd be looking at in order to play. SG like. A lot of people may be playing SGA as like a one-off, right? And then just like OKC just kind of blows them out. SGA has 65 fantasy points, and you don't need anyone else in the game. But I also think that SGA plus the Dallas guys, cheap guys, are going to be chalky, and people are just going to play guys not going to play Portland guys. They're going to play Knicks. Right, I think more people are going to play the Knicks since they're playing Dallas. Right, you can go, oh, if I'm going to play Dallas, why don't I play the Knicks? It's a 4-game slate. I'm much more likely to correlate on a 4-game slate. Hope that like Boston, Milwaukee blows out, or the Lakers, Suns blow out, or something like that, and then you get the game that actually everyone gets to see 30 plus 35 minutes in their full rotations. So like, even if you said, hey, you want instead of playing Jeremy Grant, you're playing you're playing a Scoot Henderson. Like if you're not playing Holmgren, you're playing Duop Reef or something. Even though I'm, 26 minutes. It's just that like I wouldn't trust necessarily a lot of the guys that like you need to get. Like some of these guys like Sharp and Dort, like they're priced around like 5K at like 25, 24, 25 minutes. Like the Dallas, like you're playing Dallas players in those spots.
Yeah, absolutely.
So like it's really like either the slightly more expensive guys that I'd be considering on Portland and OKC. And I wouldn't be going like, well, instead of playing Tim Hardaway Jr., I'm gonna play Shaden Sharp. It's like you're giving up way too much projection doing that.
Correct. Yeah. And I think so, Blend. I think what you're saying, and in a not a roundabout way, but I'm going to say it in a different way, is the Dallas players are probably going to be good chalk today, and that's really what it boils down to, right? Like who outside of these Dallas value guys is going to produce enough at these salary levels to make it worth it to fade them. And I don't think
on a 4-game. The key part is on a 4-game slate. Like if we were talking about an 11-game slate, you at least have a lot more options that some 4K guy from someone does well, but there's just really not enough options that if you're really if you're going into the slate going, I'm not gonna play Tim Hardaway or Jaden Hardy. It's like I don't know where you're getting those points from at those prices,
because you're not going to get them from Cam Reddish at 3,800. You're not getting them from Tor. Those guys are too low usage, too low output. Like you, and that's where I think what we're both trying to get across is you don't have the outlets to fade all of these Dallas guys. Now you might not play them all in the same lineup if you're making multiple. Maybe you fade Hardaway in this one and just play Hardy and Derek Jones and Powell or something. Maybe you get creative, but like you just can't completely avoid Dallas today. Is what we're trying to say. Like nobody else.
I wouldn't X out Dallas and say I'm building with everyone else. Yeah, you're going to see that your lineups, your median projection on your lineup is going to be like 18, 20 points lower. Than everyone else, and you're putting yourself. But well, what happens if the game blows out? What happens if like someone's getting there? Like the person that's like what you said, fading Kyrie at 9K. It's like Kyrie could still put up 45 fantasy points. And you don't win because he's 9K because 45 is fine. But Kyrie, if he doesn't score 60 fantasy points, like you may not need you literally may not need him. But if Jaden Hardy puts up 28 fantasy points at 30,
you're going to need him today. I can assure you, if Jaden Hardy puts up 28 at 3,700, he's optimal right now. No way you give him like you have to, but it's because of the slate. If this was like you said, an 11-game slate, he puts up 28, I might be able to get away with it. Not on a 4-gamer.
Okay, now about NBA props. I know Chiefs Prop Shop. Join it. RotoGrinders.com/Discord. I know it's chaotic in there, but it's 24/7 nonstop prop action with Chief and the guys in the Chiefs Prop Shop. RotoGrinders.com/Discord. Obviously, like I know that you write, Prize Picks articles, underdog stuff, props. Part of the scores and odds stuff. Our pick'em, our prop package. Get a lot of Will stuff there. I'm more of a numbers person. So like I go to the prop model, I go to the pick'em tool. I don't know what the hell's going on. All I do is I trust our projections. Our projections team for NBA, NHL for sure. Best in the business, in my opinion. One of, if not. And I've been profitable for quite a while. I've been profitable for over almost 2 years on Prize Picks and Underdog, just using our projections. Now, obviously, sports betting just opened up here in September. Well, I've been profitable since then, basically just kind of blindly betting our models. As long as you're well aware of like who's in and who's out and how the projections could possibly change, right? You don't want to take stuff too early, then this guy gets ruled out and you're stuck with all these unders that aren't good value anymore. I take a look at the statistical projections that we have, and I bet on a ton of stuff. But if you only want to bet on like maybe the top 5, top 10 edges or whatever, I mean, we have literally a top 20 prop model tied to our projections, and there's not much news going on today. So, like number 1 in the model right now is Spencer Dinwiddie under 23.5 points, rebounds, and assists. And from the looks of it, the win percentage on this, according to our projections, is 65.7%. The edge is 15.7%. So when you subtract the two, that means the odds on FanDuel probably are plus 100. So essentially, that's kind of what it's telling you right there. So if I go to FanDuel right now, right, I do this. Will, I've been doing this on the show. Just some people, Will, I get DMs, I get emails that said, I know you're profitable sports betting. You're not just like betting just what if someone signs up for RotoGrinders, they'll get the same exact projections that you do. Like, you could be profitable doing that. I say, well, that's what I'm doing, and I am. So, like, feel free to do it also. And my sales pitch is that I don't want you to, because the more people that actually do this, the more the numbers are going to move, and I'm not going to be as profitable. So it's kind of a chicken and egg type of thing. It's like, I'm on a RotoGrinders show. I have to pitch this type of stuff, but it is the stuff that I use. So if I go here to Dinwiddie, I'm going to assume this is plus 100. And Will, you're on this also. I heard before the show you're on his you're on Dinwiddie unders also, right?
Yeah, I'm also taking under assists, which those are my two, under assists and under points, rebounds, assists.
So let's go look for Dinwiddie. Dinwiddie under 23.5, minus 104. Okay, so it's moved a little, right? But still not. What's minus 104? Okay. Minus 104 is like 51% implied probability. And according to our prop model, that under 23.5 wins at 65, at almost minus 200, essentially.
And I actually got him at under 24.5 when I got it.
At what price? At what price? Minus 115 or something?
Well, no. I think let me see where I got it at. Hold on a second. It wasn't quite that. Might have been. Give me a second, okay? I'm going into my cards here to see.
Right.
I got it at minus 125.
I'm taking it right now. You see it on the screen. I'm taking $40.
Yeah. I got 24.5 at minus 125 earlier.
Okay, so that's about this. Truthfully, that's about the same. The one extra point or whatever.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
Steve's in the chat. Pick 6 on DraftKings has it under 24.5.
Yeah, but I got it at, like I said.
Obviously, that's a different game.
Yeah.
But so what other Dinwiddie unders do you have? I mean, like I just took his PRA. Under 23.5 at minus 104, but you have his under assists?
Yeah, 6.5.
Okay, it's down on FanDuel to 5.5. Okay. But you're getting plus money. You're getting plus money on it.
Right.
So his under assists here, I think, are plus under 5.5 at plus 120. So it's about if you got under 6.5 at like minus 110, it's about the same number.
Yeah.
Right. You're just getting paid. You're getting paid more for it. It's effectively the same.
Yep.
Is there anything else that you have?
Yeah. I mean, so what I did, I've got plenty from this game. I've got Mikal Bridges at 5.5 rebounds. I got less than that or under less than 5.5 rebounds. I've got Dorian Finney-Smith less than 4.5 rebounds. Got Dean Wade at 4.5 rebounds. I've got less than 4.5 rebounds. And I've got Cam Johnson at less than 5.5 rebounds. So a lot of rebound props in this game, but pretty much got them all less than their projection.
We have number 2 on the prop model is Jared Allen over 3.5 assists at 58% win percentage, which is about minus 140-ish, about minus 140 on the over 3.5. FanDuel has his over at plus 124.
Got it. Yeah. Let's see what I can get that at. But let me see. I doubt it's.
Well, I mean, our prop model says FanDuel has the best price.
Yeah. You said 3.5.
Yeah, over 3.5 at plus 124. Which I'm putting in right now. Yeah, I'm showing you that, like, this is literally what I do. So, like, if I'm on the show, this is what I would normally do when I'm done with the show or before the show. I haven't gotten around to it before the show. So, if I'm here, I might as well just take it while I'm on the show. I mean, just simply put.
Yeah, best I can get is plus 115. at over 3.5. Best I can
Oh,
do.
because
Right.
you don't have regulated sports books where you are.
Correct.
Right. See, isn't it great? Isn't it when you finally, I don't know, South Carolina may take a long time.
Oh yeah.
They're stuck in their ways. They're stuck in their ways down there. It's so much less variance, Will, when you could just take like 5 or 6 props single, and just like if you go 4 and 2, you still make money. I mean, you're still fine.
I know.
As opposed to Prize Picks and Underdog, where it's like, yeah, you're gonna lose like 14 days in a row, and then hit a 6 pick, and then it's like GPP play. It's kind of like,
yeah. Well, let me say this too. I'm still doing both. I've been able to utilize Fliff. So Fliff has kind of been something I can use right now to continue to minimize the risk. And it has been fun. But like I said, I've done really well on Fliff this week because pretty much I've just been single leg now. And then what I will do, Blender. And the thing about Fliff is you're basically limited right out of the gate. So let me explain what that means. So the most Fliff is going to let you go is about 250, on anything. That's the most they're going to let you go.
I mean, dude, 250
for
most people.
Blender. That's Blender. Perfectly fine. That's not my unit size anyway. So I'm not. That's fine, right? But also the most they're going to allow you to earn is about 5,000 in terms of, like I'm saying, if you want to build a parlay. So you can't go on Fliff and build $1 million parlay and think you're going to get away with it. The most is 5,000. So you have these limits, but Blender, guess what? I'm perfectly fine with that. And then what I will do is, I do well that week, Blender. There are certain days I'll just take every prop that I like and I'll put it in for $10, and typically it gets me to about 5,000. And if I hit it, great. If not, it's $10. I don't care, because I've single legged all of these. So on Fliff, what I've done is I brought my unit size down so I can get more volume. If that makes any sense. So my unit size,
dude, you're playing my game. I mean, look, I'm putting in $40 bets here. I mean, I'm going to do this like 100 times today.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. At Fliff, I don't usually go past 100 on anything. So my normal unit size is 100 in general. But on Fliff, I floated between 25 and 50, unless I caught something like the other day where I felt like the total in the New England game was just wrong. Like I went all the way up because I only had, because I could single leg it. You get what I'm saying? So the total in that New England game, the weather was already too bad. And I think we got the total in the 30s. And by the time I think it ended around, I don't know, 28, 27. Like that's where it ended. So we got good value. And that one came. Obviously, we got that one because they didn't score a lot of points in that game. But my my point is that's how I do it. So all these ones that I was talking about on Fliff, I've got them in for anywhere from roughly about $25 and up. So Dinwiddie, I got his PRA 6.5, and then other props I've got Devin Booker less than 4.5 rebounds, Derrick Jones Jr. less than 5.5 rebounds, Chet Holmgren less than 8.5 rebounds. So I've got I'm just single legging it up, and it just keeps adding up day by day by day by day.
You can see here while you were talking, I took Isaac Okoro under 16.5 PRA.
Yeah.
Chet Holmgren under 7.5 rebounds.
Anthony Simon. I got Chet under 8.5 earlier this morning. So I got a
but I'm getting paid. I think I'm getting paid plus 135 or something. So it's like
exactly.
Right. Remember, it's not just for people that realize it's not just the number; it's also the price. I mean, like if I told you, like if Chet Holmgren's under 8.5 was minus 700, you wouldn't.
No way.
I mean, it's in relation to the price. So like they both
for me to get it right now, which so for me, Blender, I have to decide whether or not I'm going to accept the price, right? So right now, if I get under 7.5, I'm at minus 105. And so for me, it's like, okay, I'm willing to accept that. Like if it was minus 160, obviously, no way I'm taking that right now when it's at plus everywhere else. But minus 105, because I have to, I still determine or decide, okay, is this still good enough for me to take relative to everywhere else? Now, plus 135, obviously, that's still incredible. I would have loved if gotten this at, plus 110 at least. But if I decide to take it at minus 105, I will. But I'm just going to hold off on that one because I already have it at minus 8.5 or less than 8.5. Sorry.
Right. And the same thing you could do in the prop model, just like I'm doing right here. We also have a pick'em tool, right? So you could go to Prize Picks. So we could go like right now and go to Prize Picks. And this is in our. If you're not playing DFS anymore, you could just use our props and pick'em package. You'll get both of these screens in addition to our expert picks. You get as part of the props and pick'em package. You could even see what it was just on the screen. Like there's a 3-day $9.99 trial or something that you could use right now. Obviously, if you're a combo premium member, if you're playing DFS and you got all the sports and everything, you get this. You get all of this, and you're able to actually download our statistical projections. So you could take it and do whatever the hell you want with it. Load it into anything in Excel, put it into Python, do whatever the hell you want with it. But right, we see a props and pick 3-day trial, $9.99. Right. So if you just want this, if you're just going to be betting on just like the top 20 or the top things in the pick'em tool, like it's very easy. You could just come here, do it. You're done. 5 minutes. You're done. You're done. I could go to Prize Picks right now. Right. And using our statistical projections that we have currently up for NBA. Right. I could go here and it's like, look, okay, Spencer Dinwiddie. It'll show you the win percentages and the edges or whatever. So we'll take the top like 5. Right. Take the top 5, take the top 6, right? Take the top 6. Well, let's make a 6 card of just these, right? Just the top ones. So I'm going to move this to the side just so I could see both, right? Yeah. I'm not showing you anything that I wouldn't do myself, so I'm going to just do it myself. Dinwiddie, right? We got Dinwiddie less than 24.5 PRA. Anthony Simons. More than 7.5 rebounds and assists. Okay. Okoro less than 13.5 points and rebounds. Michael Bridges. You have a Bridges one also, right?
Yeah, 5.5 rebounds.
Okay. Well, this pick'em tool shows less than 31.5 PRA.
Yeah.
As the biggest edge here. And then Nurkic here. Nurkic, more than 11.5 rebounds and assists. Yep. More than 11.5 rebounds and assists. And then Brook Lopez, less than a half a steal.
Yeah.
Which is always the scariest to sweat when the half a 3-point, the half of it. Just...
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I had a nice little half of 3-point for a Russell Westbrook last night, but I plugged it in. He didn't hit a 3-pointer, and all was well.
So you see right here, I just did all those 6 for $30.
Yep,
I'm good. Right.
There it
I
is.
may look at this later if there's more. I mean, you could feel free to mix and match. I mean, there's still plenty up here. I mean, Chet Holmgren less than 8 rebounds. Chris Middleton, more than 19.5 points and rebounds. And obviously when the projections get updated, this gets updated as well. And you could flip this over to Underdog as well. So you could go over there and it'll show you the numbers that are over there. The DK Pick 6, if you're playing that. Yep. So this is a nice little tool. I mean, this is just easy, right? Top 20 prop model, the pick'em tool, show you the top edges. It's all based on our statistical projections, right? You could do this for NHL. You could do that. I mean, all NHL, NFL, MLB, PGA. You got everything here. And then if you're a combo premium member, we have statistical projections for tennis. We have statistical projections for college football. I mean, it's not on anymore, but like you could take those and just go. Yeah. I mean, I could take the tennis ones and go like, okay, let me bet on some aces. Let me do like that. Yeah, it doesn't show on their top 20 screen because tennis is not as popular or anything. But we have statistical projections and like everything. So like you could just use them to your advantage. Right?
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Another thing that we have here, I know there's a 13-game NHL slate. If you want to dabble in NHL DFS, NHL will, I don't know, it doesn't seem like you're an NHL guy, but you're a baseball guy.
I am.
But you can play NHL very much like baseball because it's very correlated when it comes to lines. You're playing like lines of teams. You're playing 3 or 4 guys from like 2 different teams and building your lineup that way. An easy way to figure it out. Obviously, you could use Lineup HQ. You could go to the NHL projections. You could do everything you would normally do in Lineup HQ. You could run 300 lineups. You could run different configurations, stack configurations. You could create groups. You could do all that fancy stuff. If you're only going to build like one lineup or something like that, what I like to do is I go to the DraftKings NHL DFS stack value stream, right? To see, because it's not just one player's value. It's like how much value do you have on the entire line? And I sort by this value column, and I'm specifically looking for lines that have high value and also high average projection. Because yes, Montreal's third line is the highest point per dollar value, but it's like that. They only play 12 minutes. I mean, it's like, yeah, because they're all like 2,500. It's like playing 3 cheap guys in an NBA lineup. It's like, are they going to score enough points for the opportunity cost of even being in your lineup? So really, I'm sorting by value and then looking for this green in the average projection, right? Where it's high, 12.54. So the top one right now is Montreal even strength 1, which they're facing San Jose, who's a kind of a bad team.
They give up shots to everybody. Shots galore. So Blender, the reason why I know that, see, if you hang out in the prop and pick'em streets, you understand that while I may not be completely dialed in like I would be for DFS, I know the teams that give up gobs of shots because I'm taking the shot props.
Right. Or the goalie.
San Jose is at the top. Yeah. Or goalie. Yeah.
But also understand that Montreal sucks also. The Canadiens are not a good team either.
Yeah.
But the top value we have currently in projections is Montreal, even strength 1, Suzuki, Caulfield, and Slafkovsky. Because Suzuki's only 5,500. Caulfield is 6,100. Slafkovsky, I believe, is 3,300. It's in my dummy. Like, I didn't even look at this. All I know, in my dummy lineup last night, I basically went directly to Montreal 1. Because it's cheap and they're facing the Sharks at home. So give it to me. Other ones that have good value, Carolina's power play 1 unit. I mean, you could play a whole bunch of them. You could play Aho, you could play Svechnikov, Jarvis. The only issue that I have with Carolina is they tend to play their even strength lines very similarly. So sometimes Carolina scores 5 goals and you're sitting there going, where are my points? Because some other line scored.
For sure.
Other good lines on the board. You could see in this. I mean, if you're a premium combo subscriber, you get this. So I mean, I'm just showing you what you could see on your own every single day in NHL. Remember, there's a slate in NHL pretty much every day, right? So we got Buffalo 1, and this is assuming that Victor Olofsson is actually going to be skating on line 1. If you go into the NHL Discord, which is free, which is a great source for NHL news and line changes and morning skate updates and everything, they got to switch to ramp. Buffalo in the last game kind of like switched stuff up unexpectedly. So, I mean, definitely check out to make sure that Olofsson is in because he's very cheap. A lot of times he's on the power play and he ends up like on the 3rd or 4th line. But if he's going to play on the Buffaloes 1 with Tooch and Thompson, that's going to be a very good value line as well. Other lines that you could look at today, just taking a look at this tool, probably New Jersey, the Devils. The Devils, I mean, the power play, the Devils 2 line with Bastian, Hall, and Hischier is okay.
Yeah.
We take a look. I like if it's because with Jack Hughes out, you're going to get like Dawson Mercer on the top line, and he's cheap, and you pair him with Joffrey and Bratt, so we have that as a value. But of course,
so let me ask you this: how do you when you're playing? And I know you're using the tool, right? But for instance, line 2 has Hischier, Bastian, and Holla, but Hischier is also going to be a part of power play 1, at least according to our lineups. So do you sometimes build for power play 1 versus just keeping them in line? Do you get what I'm saying? Like, and I know you're allowing the tool to tell you, But like, how
Right.
do you view
Most-
that?
Most of the time, I understand the types of contests that you're playing. If you're playing the larger field contests, you could do a lot of things.
Oh,
right?
yeah, for sure.
Because you have to beat 5,000, 6,000 people. I'm typically playing the 100 to 500 man type of contest.
Yeah.
Playing the 222, the 88, playing the $40, it's like 550 entry type of level. In those levels of contest, you really don't have to get that weird. I prioritize, obviously, value. I typically play the teams that are projected to score a bunch of goals. Like I'm going to play the third biggest underdog on a 13-game slate. It's like you don't have to do that. Like, well, what happens if they score 7 goals? You're going to win the contest by like 80 points unnecessarily. You don't need to do that. And in the 100-man contest that I play, if like the third biggest underdog, like third line scores 2 goals, like no one has these guys. It's like it doesn't matter. Like, but in the large field contest, there'll be someone with something that's much more likely.
It's just like MLB. So, and let me say this, like, and I'm victim to all of this, just like everybody else. NBA goes on All-Star break. Everybody plays NHL because the contests are bigger. So they're giving you, well, let me tell you this. On FanDuel, that's the way it is. On DraftKings, their NHL is pretty good year round. Like the contests are good, the payouts are good. And so, I do think if you're going to decide, you know what, I'm going to play NHL full time this year, DraftKings is the place to do it. Hands down.
But I prioritize in my smaller field contests. I prioritize 2 things: 1, power play time, and 2, time on ice.
Yeah.
So given the choice of like, there's some, I don't like playing guys like if I'm going to play 3 players together, I'd rather play 3 players that are on the power play than are just specifically on even strength, as long as they get some amount of power play time. And then typically for defenders, I prioritize time on ice.
Yeah.
I don't even care if they're on the power play or not. If a defender is going to be playing 22 to 25 minutes and they're like 4K, 5K, I like those guys so much more than the $2,700 guys that are going to be playing 14 minutes, maybe on power play too, because it's just that you get so much more of an advantage getting a good amount of points out of your defender slots than you do anything else, because you can find goals anywhere, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
On a 13-game slate, you can find goals. But a lot of times it's hard to find, 20 to 30 points combined at your defender spots. So I tend to prioritize those. I'm going to play guys that at least they're getting the block bonus or something, because they're out there for 22, 23 minutes, right? And they're sitting there like they have a nice floor of like 8 to 10 points. And if they end up on the score sheet, like, good luck. You're going to have to run me down. They have 23 points. Like, good luck trying to get that out of your $2,700 garbage defender in your lineup, because you wanted to pay up for like Nathan McKinnon or a Kucherov or something like that. I tend to build much more balanced lineups than most people. But still, for the most part, I could build my lineups by hand just using this DraftKings stack values page. I mean, it will do it for you in lineup HQ. You're gonna wonder. If you ran 300 lineups in lineup HQ, you're gonna get a lot of Montreal, a lot of Montreal 1, a lot of Montreal power play 1. You're gonna get a lot of Carolina, and you're gonna be like, wow, I'm getting a lot of this. They must be good. Like, dude, I can just look at the stack page. I can tell you, because from a values perspective, your lineups are going to project the best with these guys, right?
Yeah.
Now, you have to always compare it to ownership. If these guys are too owned, then you start pivoting to different places. But on a 13-game slate, ownership tends to spread out way more than it should. So really, a lot of these guys may actually go under-owned, even if they are somewhat chalky. I could see Montreal 1 being 10 to 12% owned today on a 13-game slate, and people go, wow, that's high owned for a 13-game slate. It's like, yeah, but it's quite possible that they should be like 22% owned. Like a lot of times people get way too, especially in the smaller field contest, they get way too sneaky. Way too sneaky.
Blender, you're about to make me play NHL today, and if I win, it's going to be your fault.
Well, don't play in my contest.
Listen, I'm getting very excited because MLB is coming anyway. So this is incredible. I'm actually I really am pretty excited about the NHL slate today. And the thing too, Blender, you know what? I need to just go ahead and break it down and just chase the NHL seat for the for the championship. I just need to change that. So I don't know if I've told you this specifically, but I do want to get to one more live final. I do want to get to one more.
You could go as a +1 with anyone. You could.
No. I want to earn my way to a live final.
You mean you actually want to have an entry? You don't want to just be there.
Yeah. I want to earn my way to one more. Doesn't matter what sport. It could be baseball, basketball. Football would have to come around again, but baseball, basketball, hockey, make it to one more. I would like to win one, but I think I want to make it one more. And then of course everybody wants to take down a millie at some point. Maybe I did chase the millie a little bit this year. So maybe I'll probably chase it a little bit again next year. But it's really more for pride's sake. The money will be good. Don't get me wrong, Blender, but I make enough money doing what I'm doing already. But I definitely want to. I might try to chase
the reigning champion is calling you out.
Daniel, my man. Okay. Hey, listen, Daniel, I got no problem with the little competition, man. And congrats to you. Winning live final is a big accomplishment. So let's see. They've got one tonight for $14.50. I don't quite want to spend $14.50, obviously. Until I've maybe won a couple contests or something. And then maybe I'll suck it up.
Right. You don't want your first NHL DFS contest to be a $1,400
Yeah. I mean, look, I'm good at DFS. Here's the thing, Blender. Like, we understand enough. Like, I'm not afraid to do it, but that's still not wise for me to just hop right in. Like, you got to know that. You know what I mean?
Right.
You just got to know. Yeah.
Right. Look, Joe Adamo's making fun of me. I can't even pronounce the players' names correctly. Right. What do I know?
Yes, sir.
So, Will, you have stuff coming up this week. We have playoff NFL stuff. Obviously, we got the football players going on, right? Tomorrow, Squirrel Patrol will be on. We'll be talking about the playoffs, the NFL playoff slates, as well as MMA. UFC is back. Obviously, there's basketball. There's hockey going on as well. But tomorrow will be specifically for NFL playoffs and MMA. But Will, you got a bunch of. You always have a bunch of stuff coming out for both DFS and sports betting, and you're probably on a bunch of shows. So give people a preview of what's coming up, both premium wise as well as some of the free stuff.
Yeah, so free stuff. I was on a betting podcast yesterday with Eric and let's see who else was on it? Eric Raskin and Joe, a good friend of mine, Joe, and we talked about the NFL, and that was a betting podcast for US Bet. I'm going to be on the Blitz. We're recording the Blitz on Friday this week because the slate started Saturday. So for those of you that are Blitz subscribers or into the NFL, we're going to record that one tomorrow. It'll be ready tomorrow. I'm still going to have my stuff for owners bots this week. And then I will be on Sunday, myself, TJ, and I think Tim will be covering all of the NFL stuff for Showdown and the smaller type slate, boutique type slate stuff for NFL. And then there we go. That's kind of my content for the week because NFL is slowing down and MLB is right around the corner. And it's all going to pick back up.
So you're more excited for MLB than playing NBA, which I don't blame you for.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, I'm more excited for MLB all the time. So, because it's, to me, and like you said, it's like hockey. Unless something weird happens, you mostly know what's going to happen with the lines. People aren't just going to get ruled out 5 minutes before literally, unless like an earthquake happens or something really bad happens. And so, you can build lineups accordingly. And typically, Blender, you can set those lineups once you know everything and go out to dinner with your friends, watch a movie, and you can come back later that night and check and see what's happened. It's great.
Right. Daniel says MLB is so civilized. That's right. That's why I like it. For both DFS and betting, it's just MLB is a very easy routine for betting. It's like, I'm going to check the numbers before I go to sleep, right? For the day, right? You check the strikeout numbers, anything that's posted before you go to sleep, right? You hammer anything that is worth doing then you wake up and you check it again, right? Hammer what's available then. And then you don't look at it again until like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And you hammer anything then. And then you build your DFS lineups about 20 minutes before the slate. And then you close your laptop and you essentially you leave on notifications just in case the Angels lineup isn't in, or something like that. The Dodgers, you don't know who's going to be DHing, right? Something like that. And you're done. Like, it feels like it's a grand total of like 30 or 40 minutes total of work between, like 15 minutes before bed, 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes in the afternoon, 15 minutes to build your lineups. And then you just do that over and over again, Will, until it's like the end of July. And you're like, when is the season ever going to end? And you're looking forward to NFL, because it always happens that way. That once you do it for a long enough period, it's like, I'm just getting sick of this. And then it goes away.
But you need the money to keep going to your account. So you have to keep doing it.
Right. That's the problem. That's the problem. It's like, I know this is getting boring day after day after day, but I take a look at my ticket or whatever. I'm like, how do I not do this?
Yeah. Well, the other thing too, Blender, that I think is cool about MLB this season, I think it's going to be a little bit different for me. And I want to see how they're going to handle this. But I think pick six is slowly changing the game. But here's what I mean by that. Pick six is not going to give you push lines. And when the lines come out, they're not changing. So being able to compete against your peers in pick six and seeing how they kind of handle it, that's going to be an interesting wrinkle this season, I think, for me personally. Because, I've gotten so used to prize picks, underdog. Now I have flip this year, which flips will help me, bump up my earnings even more. But being able to see how that happens, because sometimes Blender, for instance, a line may come out at 5.5. Now strikeouts don't change a lot, but you will see on FanDuel or DraftKings, strikeout prop will come out at 5.5. It might end the day at 4.5. Do you get what I'm saying? And then it's like, okay, so now it's 4.5 on the pick'em side. How do people adjust for that on pick six? And that's the game I think we'll play a little bit. All the strikeout props aren't going to change. Most of it's just the odds are going to change on the sites, and that you don't have to worry about that on pick six. But I think that's going to be an interesting wrinkle to how I approach baseball this season, because pick six I can literally just put everything in throughout the day. I don't have to work because it's not going to change. And that's
how difficult. Daniel's asking, how difficult is the swapping on pick six?
No, it's not okay. So let me say this, Daniel. It's not hard at all. However, if you start playing 20 different cards and you need to swap 10 guys, you have to do it manually. So there's no global swap for one particular prop, if that makes any sense. But it's very easy. You click the prop, you take it out, you can add another one in or change it from more to let. It's very easy. But if you start getting into 20-something cards and one prop is in all those cards, there's no global. So you have to know that going in.
Yeah, once they get CSV uploads, it's all over.
Listen, I talked about this, with the company in terms of being able to have a version of Lineup HQ for the pick'em sites, Blender. Because listen, believe it or not, I think it's valuable. And I actually tried to build it myself, and I haven't been able to get it quite right and find the right people. But I think having something like that for price before where it updates throughout the day, even if the props drop from 5.5 to 5, it drops, and you can just say, okay, I want this, and you can click a button and say, hey, I want 6 picks now, right? I want to use this for 6 picks. I want this one in 20%. I want this one in 50%. I want this, and then you say, okay, build me 20, and it builds them, and then you can just upload it, and you're done for that period of time.
Obviously, I've been waiting for it. The reason why Prize Picks and Underdog will never have a CSV upload function for Pick'em, because the types of people that would want a CSV upload function for Prize Picks and Underdog are customers that they rather not have. Right?
Also true. Also true.
Right. Okay, so you can follow Will on Twitter, as always, Chief Justice 06, me at BlenderHD. Hit that thumbs up button on your way out the door. Hit the thumbs. We got crunch time later today. We got, obviously, NHL content and NHL coverage in our Discord. Join it there. RotoGrinders.com/Discord. Hit the thumbs up button. Keep on hitting the thumb, the subscribe button, the notification bell. I'll be back tomorrow with Squirrel Patrol because I'm always here Monday through Friday, 11 o'clock Eastern, talking about all things you're thinking about in daily fantasy, props and pick 'em on RotoGrinders today.